Hey guys, Phil here, Woods Tree Farm, and continuing the series here of recent videos. It's dry. It's middle of July now, right? And we haven't gotten more than about 1/3 of an inch of rain since the middle of June. The last significant rain we had was back on June 15th, 16th, 17th, somewhere in there. We got like 2.5 inches of rain over a couple days. Since then, it's been dry, so I'm out here watering again. I've got about 2 hours of daylight, and I also want to get some spray down around some of the trees. I'll show you the Leland cypress that we planted. We watered those some over the weekend, and I noticed there's a bunch of morning glory and some other stuff that's growing in all around those. So I want to get those sprayed. I've never sprayed around those since I planted. And I'm also going to spray around my sunflowers. We'll take a look at those and see how they're doing. We watered those a whole bunch this past weekend as well, so hopefully they're starting to perk up and really starting to grow. And what else we got going on? We got photographers coming in here in a couple weeks, so I've got a lot of work to do to make sure this place is looking nice, because there are going to be some photographers bringing their clients here to do some photo shoots, and that's another revenue stream for us because we get to charge the photographers to use the farm here. And then we're also going to do pick your own sunflower event coming up here in a couple weeks. So a lot of work to do to make sure everything's in tip-top shape, and a lot of work to do to keep up with the trees and the weeds and everything else. So like I said, I got about 2 hours. I'm going to spray. I'm going to show you sunflowers. I'll show you the Leland cypress, and then of course if you got any questions or comments, you leave those below in this video. And if you enjoy this and you like what you're seeing, hit the like button, share this video with your friends, and if you want to keep up with what we're doing out here on our 43-acre farm in Central Virginia, just hit the subscribe button and you can follow our journey as we post new videos. So here we go. All right, here are our Lelands. We got 100 of these just to try them out. We're on our first couple rows here, closest to our pond. And you can see on the pond, it is dead calm out here today. Perfect time to spray. And we haven't mowed down in these rows in a couple weeks, so grass is getting a little high in between the rows. But you can see here, there's some viney stuff growing between the Lelands. I don't know what that is. There's some morning glory, a bunch of junk in here that we just want to get under control before it gets out of control. Most of these Lelands, you can see they're doing pretty well despite the hot weather, despite the drought. There's a nice looking one. It's over 2 feet tall. And up and down the row, almost all of them are green. There's a couple brown ones here and there. I think I got about 8 of them total. That one's not gonna make it. I got like 3 or 4 on this row down here that aren't gonna make it. But all in all, look pretty good. So I'm gonna stop chit-chatting because I'm burning daylight and I want to spray. Well, the Lelands are done. I'm walking over the sunflowers now, and on my way I'll just spray around any of these pines that I come up on. These pines haven't been sprayed since April, I think, so starting to get some stuff come up around them a little bit. The pines also don't have mulch like some of our other trees do, so stuff comes back pretty quick. Here we go, wasn't far. Here on this end we've got zinnias. They're starting to come up. Actually, a couple of them started to bloom. Some early bloomers even. They're all really short in here still. Got a couple flowers. Got a lot of weeds to pull in these little zinnia beds. I was going to come through and spray some clethodim on here to knock out the grasses, but these other weeds in here are not grass-like. So it's only a couple 100 square feet, so I was doing some hand picking this past weekend. I got almost all of it done. This is the only little bit from the right side of the first row on the left and the left side of the second row on the right. The rest of it down here, these beds are picked reasonably well. So I'm just going to come along with the spray and knock out the weeds that are down the rows and along the edges, and then I'll be going along with spray doing the same thing here in the sunflowers. A lot of these guys are still really short. But if we go up the other end, they're all looking pretty good. Looks like we need to run the sprinklers again. Some of these are looking droopy. It was 97 degrees today. Look at these guys up here, looking a little droopy. So, given how some of these things look, maybe I'll skip spraying and run the sprinklers tonight. No, you know what? I'll spray now, come back tomorrow, run the sprinklers tomorrow. We'll do that. We gotta spray. Alright, well the spraying's done. You can see how down on this end there's just a lot more weeds in between the rows. So trying to just knock some of that down with chemical to make this a little bit easier for people to navigate once we open up. And I know that spray is going to take a good week or two to take hold, so want to get ahead of it. Some of these flowers are starting to think about producing some heads, even though they're really short. It's just been so dry, they're really stunted. But you can see there, just starting to think about putting together a little flower head. Another little tiny one right in there. So they still got a couple weeks, maybe just 1 week. We'll have to wait and see. I noticed while I was spraying just one flower, it started to open up. It is down here somewhere. There she is. Our first 2020 sunflower opening up. And each of these up here, that's going to be a little one. That's going to be another one. So it won't be long. Another couple days. Looking across the way, the sun is still above the trees. I got about an hour of daylight. What else can I do here today? I got my irrigation line up here. I'm going to drag my sprinklers over, get them hooked up, so when I come back in the morning I can just fire this up and it'll be ready to go. There's my pump over there. That pulls water from the pond. And just over here I've got this little PVC manifold that I built, and this is what I use to hook up the sprinklers. So I've got a couple different sections of this 2-inch line. And I've got this short 25-footer here that I use to when I'm watering stuff that's up close. I've got a 150-foot section over there that goes to the garden, and then I've got a 300-foot section that goes way up the hill over that way. Alright, yeah, so this manifold, now that it's drained, this is pretty light and easy to move. I actually changed. I used to have a couple really long pieces of pipe on this, like 200 feet, and it was just too much to move around. So I shortened them all to 100 foot, and now that I have all these different sections of lay flat, I don't need any more than 100 feet of the black hose to get wherever I want to go. So I just got to gather up the sprinklers that are laying around, and then we can go hook this up. Let me show you guys this couple little mini inexpensive upgrades I got here. So one, I'm kind of disappointed none of you guys ever told me about these, because I had issues with these sprinkler heads getting fouled up with debris. I don't have, there's like a basket strainer on the end of the suction line, but there's still debris that gets caught up in that pretty regularly. So what I do now when I turn on my irrigation, I don't hook up any of the sprinklers, and I just let the lines blow out for a little bit so that any debris that's kind of sitting around that strainer can hopefully pass through the lines. But then I've got this now, which is a little inline strainer, and it catches quite a bit. Let's see how dirty it is from the last time it ran. Yeah, you can see the whole inside of that thing is all junked up, and that's debris that would have previously been stuck inside of my sprinkler head, and then as soon as the sprinkler head gets gummed up, it doesn't shoot out. So I only bought one of these because I just wanted to see how it works. but I'm pretty pleased with it. And they make these in different sizes. Obviously I bought this to hook up to this 3/4 inch line, but I could consider getting a bigger one and putting it on the 2-inch line, or I could do both. I could do the 2-inch line and this. I think the only real catch is that they end up reducing pressure just a little bit, but these still were supposed to be capable of pushing through like 40 gallons a minute or something, which is I think about as much as we can expect out of this 3/4 line. So I think that's completely fine, and if it gets gummed up, it's pretty easy to unthread it, rinse it out, thread it back together, and I've got my little manifold here so I can just turn the line off, you know, depressurize it, take it apart, put it back together, piece of cake. I also started using some of these quick connects so I could get the sprinkler heads on and off really quick, because it's a pain in the butt trying to thread them and unthread them out here in the field all the time. So anyway, that's a couple of my little upgrades. Wanted to share that with you guys. I got this particular one for, I think it was 20 bucks from Tractor Supply. I've seen them online for different prices, some a little more, some a little less. Oh yeah, the other thing with this too, I was hooking all my sprinklers up to garden hoses. I just started going straight to this 3/4 inch line because I felt like we're really losing a lot of pressure with the hoses. All the hoses that I have are 5/8 inch, so you're obviously losing a little bit going down to the smaller diameter. But I also just think, you know, given the lengths that we were running, sometimes we were running with the 3/4 inch hose plus the garden hose, we were running 300 feet sometimes, and I know that we were losing some pressure there. So one thing I haven't tried since I've gone down to the 3/4 inch line directly to the sprinkler is if I can run any of these sprinklers in series. When I built these little homemade sprinklers, I did a couple of them with threaded end caps here, so I could hook up a small section of garden hose to this one. Wow, there's actually a lot of dirt and debris in there. Anyway, I could hook up another small section of garden hose to this one and maybe get 2 sprinklers off of one line, and I'll test that out tomorrow and see if we got enough pressure for that. You'll have to stay tuned for the next video to check that out. So that's about it. Sun's winding down. I'm enjoying this evening out here. It's nice and quiet and calm, though I wouldn't mind a little breeze. It's hot. If you got any questions about what we're doing out here, obviously, leave those below. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.